Hey guys, my name is Deb Marnie and I'm from Aussie Maille, and this is our chain mail tutorial channel. Hey guys, big hi, hello, welcome, how are you? Thanks for popping in and seeing me today. It's really great to see you. So today I've got another weave tutorial for you. This one is for the halo weave. Alright guys, let's jump straight into it. Okay guys, so I've got some sample pieces here of halo weave made up for you. So coming up here on the side of the video will be the ring sizes that we used for each of these pieces. They'll also be listed down below in the description section that you can find underneath this video. But I'll run through these quickly with you now. Now each gauge size uses 4 different ring IDs or 4 different aspect ratios. So this is going to take us a little while, but let's get onto it. So this one over here is our 14 gauge AWG 1.6mm diameter wire, and the ring IDs I chose to use for this piece were 9mm for the extra large rings, 8mm for these ones, 6.25, and then 4.75mm. The next version, 16 gauge AWG 1.2mm diameter wire. The extra large rings are 6.75mm, the large are 5.75, the medium are 4.5, and the small are 3.5mm. The next one, 18 gauge AWG 1mm diameter wire. Our extra large rings are 5.5mm ID, our large rings are 4.75mm, our medium rings are 3.75, and our small rings are 3mm. And lastly, the 20 gauge version, the extra large rings on here were 4.5mm ID, the large rings are 3.75mm, the medium rings 3mm, and the small rings 2.5mm. Okay, so as I said, it uses 4 ring sizes. The aspect ratios for these are, starting from small up to the extra large, are 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's what was listed on Maille Artisans, and that's what I found worked pretty good. What I tend to do to help myself out with these rings, because there's so many of them, you can see I pop them in the little trays here, and I've got the ring sizes listed on a piece of paper and the aspect ratio, just to keep it straight in my head when I'm weaving which rings I should be grabbing. Okay, so we're going to start this weave by making a short chain that is 1 medium, 1 small, 1 medium. So to do that, I'm just opening up one of my small rings, and then I'm going to pop on 2 of my medium rings. Okay, and then because I've just popped those on straight out of the bag, I'm going to close those up now. Okay, so there's our starting chain. Now we want to take 2 of our extra large rings and pre-close those. Okay, so taking your 2 pre-closed extra large rings, take up an opened large ring and feed your extra large rings onto that. Close it up and do that a second time. Okay. Then we want to take up our small starting chain, and we want to sit this in between our extra large rings. Okay, so we sandwich it in between our extra large rings, just like that. And we want to place 2 more of our large rings in the top of this chain to lock it all into place. So taking up one of our large rings, I'm going to feed that through just the extra large rings, okay, like we did before, just straight through there. Close that up, and we want to add a second one on that side as well. Okay, and then we want to position those large rings so that it runs along the length of the chain, just as you see here. Now, what I like to do at this stage, just to finish off one end there and make the rings behave, is I take up a small ring and pop it through one pair of those large rings that we just added. And then I'll do one on the other side as well. So we've got one sitting on each side of the medium ring that sticks out there. Okay, and then just for good measure, I'm going to pop a single one through there as well, and that I will use as the end that I'm going to attach my clasp onto. Okay, so I like to do that now, just so that it holds this additional, or this starting pair of rings over here in place, and they're not flopping around all over the place as we weave. Okay, so your work should look like this at the moment, and that's one completed unit there. So go ahead and make up several of those units. I'll make another one with you now, just to show you again how to do that. So taking up, I'm going to set that one aside over there. Taking up a small ring, I'm going to pop on 2 medium rings. Close it up. And then close my medium rings. Okay, I'm just going to set that aside for a little while. I'm going to take up 2 of my extra large rings and close those. Then I'm going to grab a large ring and feed it through my extra large rings. Close that up. Double that ring up. Now for those that are interested, the coloured ring that I'm using in here is a 14 gauge AWG 5/16 of an inch, or 7.94 millimeters. So close enough to that original 8 that I showed you in the 6 mil in the previous versions for it to work. Okay, so once I've got my large and extra large rings joined, I'm going to take up that initial starting chain again. I'm going to lay it in between the extra large rings. And this is where it gets a little fiddly, so you'll have to excuse my fingers and thumbs. But what you want to do is you just want to lay that ring in between them. And we're going to lock it in place by feeding some large rings through that same space there up the top. Okay, so just hold on to all of that and feed a large ring through the top there. So it's just picking up the extra large rings. That's all that your large rings are going through. Okay, and that's it. That's basically a unit. All right, so set that one aside, and let's make up one more. So our starting chain of 1 medium, 1 small, 1 medium. Oops. Okay, pre-close my 2 extra large rings. Feed them onto 2 large rings. Okay, now here comes the bit where the fingers and the thumbs get in the way. So taking our large and extra large rings, we're going to flip those extra large rings aside. We're going to lay our starting chain in there, close that down so we've got 1 on each side so that it encircles our small center ring. And then while we hold on to that, we grab another one of our large rings and we feed it through just the extra large rings, just to snap it all down into place and keep it nice and secure. So we place 2 of those. Okay. Separate your large rings out so that they run along the chain and you've got another unit made up. So once you've got a few of those units made up, you'll want to grab one of your extra large rings, and onto that we're going to start joining our rings. So we're going to feed this one through the large rings on our first starting unit, and then through a set of large rings on our second unit. And we're feeding them through the same side of that, because you can see that middle, or that medium-sized ring there in the middle there. We're feeding it through the same side as that because we want to flip that over onto the other side and place another extra large ring in there. Okay, and it'll actually look like that. And you just want to do that to continue joining your units up. So again, an extra large ring through the end pair of large rings on your chain, then through the end pair of large rings on your new piece, making sure you've got them going through the same side. So don't, you know, put it down there so it goes through the bottom of that one and through the top of the other one. Make sure they're both going through the same side. Close that up, flip your work over to the other side, and place another extra large ring through the same path. And then once you've reached the length that you want your weave to be, just remember to place the same as we did up here. So we finish off with small rings. So we've got 1 on each side there coming off our large rings. And then I need an extra one here because that's the way my clasp lies. It may vary depending on your clasp, but with the lobster clasps we use, I would use another small ring and pop my lobster clasp on the end of it. But that's it, guys. That's how you do halo weave. Alright guys, well that's it. That's the video tutorial for today. I hope you enjoyed it and you found it of use. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up here on YouTube. Share the video if you like. If you're not a subscriber, you may want to consider doing that first. That would be awesome. Check out some of the other content we've got here for you. There's plenty to ruffle around in. And last but certainly not least, guys, don't forget to give our shop link that's up here in the corner a little bit of love and attention. That's where we sell the bits and bobs and you know what's you're going to need to whip up this weave and many others. All right, guys, thanks once again for popping in and seeing me. It was really good to see you. I hope you're keeping safe and well, and that I'll get to catch up with you again sometime in the very near future. Bye.